you gotta let it go. Don't know why they're always testing my cool, and it wouldn't benefit nobody to just act a fool. So hold on, it's one of those days. Stay strong, I'm keeping my faith.
I'm a hot boy, getting all I can get. Live the lifestyle of a wise guy, pretty women and zips. Yeah, I'm a hot boy.
You can bet your ass I'm a hot boy. Yep, I'm a hot boy.
Life is a hot bar. Pretty women, fast cars, toting toasters. Better watch who you get close up, cause a nigga could be after your throne. People always testing the strong. Best believe one step in his own. I'm a wise guy. Keeping it quiet with bullshit that rise. Everything kept on the hush. Some shit ain't never discussed. Loose lips can get you locked up, carried away.
Only truths that pay dues know where you stay.
I didn't see the poles running where people lay. Sitting on about a key. I can't let that shit happen to me. Never stash out when you crash out. Gotta be quick on your feet.
Oh my God. I hope some people, I invited a few people to join the panel discussion. So hopefully some people will swing through and holler at you boys. It's the King and I Life podcast.
Yes, y'all.
Hey, turn your mic up a little bit, man. Turn your mic up.
Check.
So the link is in the chat. If you want to come up on the panel, just click that link, join us, politic with us, because this is gonna be an interesting conversation, especially even if it's just me and my man, son Solex. It's gonna be an interesting conversation because we definitely have our own particular views on this this foolery that's going on out here. But you saw the thumbnail with Candace Owens, Kanye West with their White Lives Matter shirts on. We're gonna get into that. But yeah, if you out there in chat land, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell notification, drop your name and location in the chat so we know who you are, who we are talking to, who we politicking with or whatever. Because we about to have this I don't know. I'm gonna call it a weird discussion because that's what it is to me. It's a weird damn discussion.
I can go with that.
Yeah. So wait, let me you got the thing in front of you because I don't have it pulled up in front of me. The lead in.
Yes, I do. So before we get into that though, of course you guys can find us on all of the major podcast platforms. Again, we're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We out here. But anyway, so we need to talk about the panel discussion here. There's a lot going on in society as a whole as it pertains to us. There's a lot going on in this country, in each individual state, county, city, town, and in the Black community. In short, things seem to be getting out of control, from the rise in crime in the Black community to the never-ending complaints of what the government isn't doing, to the antics of celebrities. In particular, Kanye West and Candace Owens probably wearing White Lives Matter shirts. Everyone has their freedom of expression, but is there a bigger conversation that needs to be had?
So off the break, do you think there's a bigger conversation that needs to be had?
Hell yeah.
I mean, because you pro-indigenous or whatever you want to call it. And me myself, I'm losing faith in the Black community. And I don't mean that like literally like deep in my bones, but it's it's too much BS going on, and I can't take it. It's like it's really irritating me, like irritating me.
I feel your sentiments, sir. Um, but the way I look at it now, I don't even let it get to me like I used to. And of course, I am pro for us, but tomfoolery has gotten to an all-time high now. It's like watching a television program where you used to be into it, but now you see it and you just walking through the room like your favorite show isn't even on it now. So
Mm,
that's the way I see it.
mm. Wow. Again, if you want to come up, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. So click that. You can join from your phone, your laptop, your tablet. I don't know, whatever you want. How can you even like how can you dismiss it as if it's not that serious when it is that serious out here?
Um, Basically, it's called for me. It's kind of like loving someone from a distance. You know, you have one of those cousins that you
Mm,
love dearly. You guys grew up together and you're pretty tight back in the day. And at some point, you
mhm.
guys separating, and your cousin started getting herself in all kinds of trouble. And you would try to take them to the side and say, "Hey, that's not the right thing to do," but they dismiss you. So it's kind of like I just love the distance now. Good, like you do your thing, I do mine.
Your audio is fading out, but to respond to that, that means you're losing faith in the
No,
in
no,
the colored community
I
to a
don't.
degree.
I haven't lost faith. I just feel like where we're at now, we're way past blaming other people. Like we're in this mess. The only one who's going to get us out of this is us. But until we realize that, again, we're going to keep running in the same circle. So I
All
just
right.
think back and
With that being said, let's get into our first talking point.
go ahead.
Um, how do you feel about the state of the black community or indigenous, whatever you want to call it? I'm gonna call it the black community because that's what I grew up calling it.
Okay. So how I feel about the indigenous community is I see the potential. I know that we can get out of what we're in right now, but we can't continue to keep doing it the same way. Meaning, um, having all these protests and marching in the street and singing kumbaya with people who obviously don't give a damn about our communities or what's going on in our community. They'll say what they think we want to hear in order to get us in the voting polls. But then once they got our vote, okay, appreciate it. Holla
Mm.
at you. Deuces. So um, I just feel like everything we need, we already have. But until we wake up and realize what it is, then we're stuck in the mud, as they say.
So when you say that you feel like everything we need we already have, what are you referring to?
I mean, as far as the actual intelligence,
You think so?
I think we have the intelligence. It's just until the people who have intelligence come together. And I'm not saying we gotta see eye to eye on everything, but hell, we don't even have to come together, meaning be in the same room. But it's just the idea of if we had the same mindset of getting ourselves out of this situation, then we can work as individuals to make things happen.
Question for you. Mike Stewart says, how do we change it community wise? You care to answer that?
That one is a little bit more complicated. I'll give you my best interpretation of how I think we should handle it. One is we got to get rid of the two particular parties. One, we got to get rid of the so-called people who we think are in charge, or the ones that we call our leaders. because they've been sold us out. And we got to get rid of the people who basically are holding us back, meaning people of ignorance, the ones who say, yeah, I want to help you, but then they go and run and tell the other side or the other team what our plans are. So that's part of it. But again, we have to stop um, asking for stuff and giving away stuff freely. Meaning, when we say give our vote away and we don't get anything in return, I mean, come on, how many times are we going to keep doing that?
Shout out to B9 Nizzle in the building. Shout out to YouTube cousin Book of Genesis. And again, shout out to Mike Stewart in the building in the chat. Now, I heard what you said.
All right.
But that kind of has nothing to do with how do we change it in our community, because and you know, I hope somebody debates us, me, you, gives some pushback, gives some input. But when it comes to our community, that has nothing to do with them. Like, I have been watching news clips on YouTube and stuff like this, and I see our people in our communities doing a lot of foolery that makes absolutely no damn sense. And it makes it impossible to change our community because they're acting up in our communities. You know, when we were growing up, it was always the white man this, the white man that, white man, white man, white man. Even today, I still hear that argument. But when you look at our communities, and they're all everybody is saying the government ain't doing this, the government ain't doing that. But at the same time, you're telling them to mind their business. Stay out of here. Don't come over here. Now, you talked about giving away our votes to people who don't deserve it, or feeding us this, that, and the other. In our communities, we're doing the same thing to each other. We're feeding each other wolf tickets and all this nonsense. And we're imploding. And if you look at these days, I know you have previously said on several episodes a long time ago that you don't believe everything that's in the news. But every time you turn around, our people are acting an ass. I just watched several like carjacking videos from news clips from surveillance cameras at gas stations. One, like 4 dudes jumped out of a white van onto a Chrysler 300. The carjacker dude ran into the store in New York City. This one dude attacked another dude in a subway with a knife. Just the other day, this black dude shot a young black girl because she beat him in a basketball game. And this dude is on the run. And another problem that I have with that is somebody that looks like us knows exactly where he is. And what is the theme that has been going on? No snitching. Don't talk to the police. Help me understand this if we're talking about our community.
Oh, I believe it. But everything that goes on in our community goes on in other people's community too.
I don't care about their community. I'm talking about our community.
But the thing that I'm saying here is they'll put us under the spotlight, but won't put anyone else under the spotlight like that.
We're putting ourselves in the spotlight.
I agree, sir. I totally agree. But again, these are the tomfoolery or the idiots that constantly do stuff like that. We can't save them. There's no helping them. I'm talking about the brothers and sisters who have intelligence, who really want to change our communities and turn things around. As far as the leaders, the politicians that being so-called giving to us, we got to choose our own politicians, put our money behind our own politicians, and make them stand on their word of saying, if you help me get into place, this is what I'm going to do for our communities. We don't do that, sir. So, you get what you pay for.
There was a point in my life where I flirted with the idea of being a politician. There was a point in my life where I jokingly was serious about being a politician. And when I look at our community and take in consideration what you just said, our people don't even want to do that. You know, they just don't want to get involved. They don't want to engage. They don't want to participate. So it's like, how can we put our money behind somebody that looks like us, somebody that gives a damn about us, if more than half of us, or even just half of us, or even a quarter of us, are not even invested in attempting to do that?
I don't have all the answers, sir, but what I'm saying again, um, like look at Herschel Walker.
Oh my
He comes
God.
from our community, and I can't say what this man is. He's different. I'll put it to you like that. He's different. But again, if you allow them to put someone in front of you just because they look like you, that don't mean they're for you. So again, I just feel like we need to start someone off from hell the high school level, saying, okay, we'll put you through school. We'll put you through law school or whatever the case may be. Whatever we have to do to support them from the roots until they get into position. That's what we need to start doing because that's what other people, other communities do.
To answer Mike's question from my perspective, I have no idea. And to respond to you, son Solex, as far as grooming someone for that position or that, that path, um, we have to be a little realistic in this. And what I mean by that is people have been groomed for those positions, and they've also been ridiculed out of those positions by our own people. Um, or they get in there and they become the token or the status quo. So, I mean, how do we choose? I don't know. But when I'm looking at how I feel about the state of the Black community, again, all that intelligence that you talk about, it's there. But what are they doing? They're walking around with their pants hanging off their ass. They're engaging in criminal behaviors that they don't need to be engaging in. They are underachieving in school. They're underachieving in basic common sense. They're wasting their lives away on nonsense. So when I look at our community overall, there's a lot of potential out there. And again, people are still blaming the government and the white man for our pitfalls. But if you remove the white man from the situation and you leave us to our own, and let's just look at it like this. Our people have access to excess on a lot of things, but they are performing and behaving in a manner that is not conducive to progression for us. So again, you look at half these kids out here, they don't go to school, but they're complaining about what they don't have and what they can't get. They don't want to work, but they're complaining about what they don't have, what they don't get. They're committing crimes and complaining about the legal system. They get these ridiculous sentences and say they're over policing and over prosecuting. And it's like in my opinion only, the vast majority of y'all, if y'all were not putting yourselves voluntarily in those situations, none of that would apply to you. None of it. But everybody is pointing a finger from inside of our community. They're always pointing a finger. And it's like, how are you pointing the finger when you're the problem in our community?
I say to this, sir. All those points that you're making, facts. Can't deny that. But again, the thing about it is, If we're pointing so many fingers, how many fingers are we pointing at ourselves?
As far as what though? Because me personally,
All of those subjects. Because
I can point, I could point a lot of fingers, right? And I could point a lot of fingers at a lot of things that are going on. But if I point the finger back at myself, none of that applies to me because I'm not out there doing the stupid stuff that they're doing. I'm actively progressing myself and trying to progress my children. Um, I'm not waiting for the government or the white man to give me what I want. I'm going out there to get it. So we do have a lot of our people who are doing that, but then you have this element who is doing the opposite, and they're and sometimes they're the ones with the biggest complaints. And it's like you're complaining about not having a job, but you choose not to go get one. And we all know somebody that looks like us that says, I'm not doing that job. And it's like, but it's a job. Help me understand.
but that's exactly what I'm saying. All those issues we have within our community. When I say point the finger back at us, what you're doing, sir, is the actual solution. You're focused on you and what you can do in your community and your family. All this tomfoolery that's going on, I ain't got time to pay attention to that. I just don't. I'm focused on me, what I need to do to improve myself, improve my family, my situation, and my community. I ain't got time for the rest of it. If people choose to partake in breaking the law, doing drugs, uh, thieving, a whole list of things, then that's on them.
Mm.
I'm not here to be that damn Superman. Only thing I can do is be the Superman to save my goddamn self and save my family the best I can anyway.
Well, you sound like Eminem. I can't be your Superman.
True facts, homie. True facts.
I feel what you're saying, and if I was to take one thing away from what you said, it takes a village is dead.
I agree 95%.
I mean, because and to be honest, I feel the same way as you. I see the stuff out there, it bothers me, but at the end of the day, when I close my door, this is my sanctuary. This is my sweet spot. I don't care about what's going on out there because I'm to the point of they're not going to change. It's like every day you turn around is by perception is getting worse. And it's like, I don't get it. Like, y'all have no desire to live. Like, you got just like the rapper PNB Rock that got murdered. How are you the driver for your son committing a murder? Help me understand.
And that's that's part of the community that we need to let go. Meaning we ain't got time to be dealing with folks like that, man. It's we just got way too many other things to be concerned with. So these people, when they do dumb stuff like that, let them ride. If you want to partake and be a
God.
part of this system, knowing how this system works, knowing that before you even step in front of the judge, you're gonna get more time than the average citizen, go right ahead.
Mm.
More power to you. If you want to get wrapped up in that system, do your thing, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it's Low C says you can't make logic out of illogical. That is
Dang sure can.
very true. And unfortunately, I keep trying. In my head, I keep trying, but it's like banging your head against the wall at times. Yes, it's very, very sad. So we kind of touched on issues in the black community that we tend to shift blame on. Uh It's so many, so many. Um, it's so many that I just it just makes me shake my head. Um, I don't know, man. It's just yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Come on, man. Click the link in the thing. You could be on camera, real live.
For sure.
Yeah, go ahead, click that link. You can come up. You'll be up on camera with us. But yeah, man. That blame is being shifted like crazy. Now, back before our times and the 70s, 80s, parts of the 90s, maybe you know shifting blame was a valid thing. Um, and I do understand that times are changing. Um, you know, for instance, like, marijuana is becoming legal and this, that, and the other, and you know, people still locked up for this, that, and the other. All right, cool. I get it. Um, but let me ask you this before I go on.
All right, go ahead.
Um, so you go to jail for something, let's just say 5, 10, 15 years ago, and it becomes legal now. Do you think they should be let out of jail because something is now legal, what used to be a crime?
Yes.
Really?
Hell yes. I think they should be let go.
Does it matter what that crime was?
When it comes down to dealing with any illegal substance that's now legal, no matter what the quantity was, yes, you still broke the law. But now people are basically doing what in the world they want to do because it's now legal. So, do the punishment uh, exactly fit the crime when it's something that's no longer applicable now? I think
Hmm.
they should be let out. Just me saying personally.
Now, I asked you that. I just posted a link for anybody that wants to come up. I just asked you that because this is America, right? You do know that.
What they call America. Yes, sir, I do.
All right. So, and I led into that because once they start with one thing, they start pushing the envelope to see how far they can go. And being that some of these crimes and stuff disproportionately affect our people, um, it's looked at as pandering to us in some circles out there in the world. Um, so then you get to the point of, well, if the darkies can get off for having a gram of weed, then little Philip can get off for having an ounce of cocaine.
They've been getting off for having an ounce
I,
of
I'm using
cocaine.
this. I'm using this as an analogy to say everything that we fight for, that should be right for us. They're always going to one up us, always, and we're always going to be like 3 or 4 steps behind them. So when we get something, they're going to one up us all the time. And then we're always going to want that next thing. And they're always going to keep being one up above us.
Um, I can agree with that. The only pushback I give you is it's not going to be just a one up. It's going to be 100 up. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
So my thing is this, right? Again, we keep begging and pleading and asking for
Mhm.
things to change, and things have not changed. And again, I just feel like we're, like Einstein said, if you keep doing something the same way, expecting a different result, then you're insane. we can't keep
You know,
expecting
you know, you know that can go several ways, right?
expecting someone to give you something they took by force.
Huh. Lakeisha says absolutely because there was gross negligence, which I agree with. The punishment didn't fit the crime. I agree with to a degree, and it's Pandora's box for sure. Sanji says weed like alcohol. I can agree with that. Um, and Lakeisha also says little Philip didn't ever go to jail. Um, it depends on, for the most part, that is correct, but it depends on which little Philip you're talking about. Because if it's little Philip in Beverly Hills, yeah. But if it's little Philip in uh some other town, he might not get off. Um,
Nowhere. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm looking at it like this because um it's again, this is America, and certain things happen, and it starts a domino effect. Um, yes, he got less time as well. It starts this weird domino effect, and lately in our society, what we have been witnessing is, I don't know if you remember the old Bugs Bunny cartoons and stuff like that, where they said if you can't beat them, join them. That's the kind of society that we have now. If you can't beat them, join them. If you yell out enough, they'll be like, damn it, just give it to them, and they'll shut up. But then they're asking for more and more and more. And for us who have been behind the eight ball for quite some time, uh, we get roped into that either by choice or by association. And we find out how messy it is. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I'll say this, man. Again, we've been asking to be done right from the beginning of time before we actually realize, hey, we're being done wrong. This is,
Mhm.
and again, I just feel like if they haven't done right by you by now, after all this time, what makes you think they're going to have a change of heart now and say, you know what? God dang it, you're right. We have been doing you wrong. Let's change things.
Mm,
I'm not going to do that. Why? Why
mm.
would I want to make this a even level playing field when I have the upper hand? It just no, I'm not going to do that.
True. 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 True.
But as far as actually shifting the blame or blaming others, I think we're way beyond that now. Again, we know what the trap is. We see the trap. The trap is there, but for some particular reason, a lot of us want to keep running right into that trap, and then get mad when you go up here trying to get out of the trap. But you saw the trap before you ran into it.
Mm.
Come on, man. Be real now. So at some point, you got to stop pointing the finger or shifting the blame to other people. And again, point the finger and blame yourself. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Nothing changes until you change the laws within this country, which they're not going to do. But if you can't get them to change your laws or change the laws, you got to change your mindset. Once you change your mindset, then it's back on you.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people ain't not willing to change their mindset. Sanji says, we can say the same thing about alcohol too. We can say the same thing about alcohol. And interesting enough, I went to the View on Monday, and they were talking about weed and stuff like that. And Whoopi Goldberg made an interesting comment, and I'm paraphrasing here.
Mhm.
If you change the classification for weed, you have to go back and change the classification for everything out there. The same way they did alcohol, you have to change the classification for it. You see, they're changing laws, but not in our favor. That's true. Um, but yeah, you have to change the classification for everything out there because, um, and she also pointed out, which we are all aware of, is, you know, weed is not the thing that's killing people, but they acting like it's so bad. But all these prescription drugs are out there that are killing people, and they're readily available. And as it's pointed out, which also pisses me off because you have these people out here suing gun companies because they're saying they're marketing them to children. But look at these medicines out here that look like candy and they're marketing them for children. You know, Mike, give me a pound. I can't hear you, bro. I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Nah, I still can't hear you, bro.
But the thing is this, right? I kind of agree with that statement of you got to go back and change classification for all the rest of the drugs. But on the flip side of that, if it's natural, meaning grown natural and not affected, or this part taken out from it, or that part taken out from it, if it heals people, then I'm not against it. But I mean, let's be real about it. These pharmaceutical companies are making billions of dollars off of these so-called legal drugs. But then later on down the line, you'll find out that people are actually dying from these so-called legal drugs. And you're
Mm.
telling me that the FDA is supposed to be here to protect people, but you
I don't
pass
know. No,
this
no,
this
no. Don't do
this
that.
drug.
Don't do that.
Let me finish. Let
Don't
me
do
finish.
that.
So you pass this drug saying that it's acceptable or it's um, not going to kill people, but later on down the line we find out that it kills people. You're saying that it's safe for the general public, but it's not safe for the general public later on. So then they'll have a class action lawsuit that somehow or another, uh, well, we set aside this amount of money just in case we knew something like this was going to happen.
You know, I said don't do that with the FDA and stuff like that because, you
Mhm.
know, we did a podcast a long time ago and I dropped a link to the FDA guidelines. Um, you know, people think everything is a damn conspiracy. It is, but it isn't because everything is right there in front of your damn face. If you go to the FDA website and you look in this document, this book, this document of the bullshit that the FDA allows in certain foods and products, none of this is a secret. None of it is conspiracy. It's right there in front of your face. And when you're talking about these medicines, if you look at all these damn commercials that promote these medicines, they give you it's for one thing, but it has 50 million side effects that'll cause three other illnesses. And it's like, okay. Let me see what Lakeisha says. She says, I don't think they all have to be reclassified. It's just that they intentionally classed it that way so that they can make pharmaceutical companies money. True,
I would agree with that.
true. Very, very, very true. Um, you know, and I totally agree with what everybody is saying in the chat. What bothers me though in 2022 and even go back 5 years is that we're having the same argument and the same issue. Um, but one of the problems is, and I'll just speak on our communities, we've been falling for the okey doke on ourselves for the longest time. And what I mean by that is we know this stuff is bad. We know it's bad because we see what happens to other people, yet we're still doing partaking in some of these things. I'm not talking about weed, but still partaking in some of these things and we're still having the same results, which, as you quoted by Mr. Einstein, is insanity. So if you know doing coke, crack, meth, or whatever those drugs, if you know somebody gets a heart attack, enlarged liver, lung failure, teeth falling out they face, and all this, that, and the other, if you know or have seen throughout history this happening to people, why are you still doing it? Now, to jump back on the weed thing before we move on,
All right.
I don't care who smokes weed. Um, Rock out. If that's what you like, that's what you like. The problem I have with it, oh yeah, and this is another thing that Whoopi Goldberg said on the show, is that um, is Whoopi or one of them? What about people who drive under the influence? You know, because that has to be taken into consideration. Just like with alcohol, if you're driving under the influence of alcohol, hey, you can get DUI. There's a specific test for that. But if someone is driving under the influence of marijuana, that's also a DUI. That's also a DWI. Just like if you do the same thing with a prescription medicine, but with weed, um, you have to also take that into consideration. And I think that's part of the holdup with um, making it legal all over the place and for anyone and anybody, because although it may not have adverse effects like crack cocaine, this, that, and the other, but some people can't handle their damn high. Like, just seriously, some people get high, go drive, and crash into something, or they operate heavy machinery, cut a finger off, or whatever the case may be, or stumble in front of a bus and get hit. It's like you have all these variables out there. So while everybody is saying they should change the law, change the law, change the law, cool, but think about how it affects the general public, and not only the general public. um no comment, that is my coffee. I got you. But then, just like alcohol, just like cigarettes, and just like any other drug, it's winding up in the hands of kids. They're getting it easily. And it's like, I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I don't disagree with what you're saying.
However, comma.
No, no, no. Here's my thing, right? I have several family members and several friends who partake with the smoking of the icky. I can't be mad at them. I can't stop them. Do your thing. If that's what you choose to do, then more power to you.
You're right.
That's not my thing. I did it when I was in college. I'll be
Hmm.
honest with you. Maybe a few times after, but here now at this stage in my life, uh-uh. If I won't even take over the counter, goddamn drugs or medicine or whatever, then I'm definitely not smoking weed. But to each their own, I feel. And again, the people who really need it, man, it's one of those things that get abused
Hmm.
because some need it. I mean, actually need it. But anyway, I'll get off it. It is what
Yeah.
it is. If that's your
Yeah.
thing, go with it.
Lean with it, rock with it. All right, let's move on. Wait, let's see this comment. The ganja. Yes, the ganja.
Yes.
They love
Yep.
the ganja, man. All right, so check it. Do you think racism is an extinct argument?
That's a big one. That's a big one. I think that we still beating a dead horse. I'll be honest with you. We're still beating the hell out of a dead horse here, son. He's not gonna get up. He's not
Mm,
going to breathe at all. So for those that still want to keep bringing it up, more power to you. It still exists, no doubt. But it's one of those things of, if you want to spend your time on this subject when there are so many other things you could be doing with your life, More power to you. That's all I can say.
You say beating a dead horse. I say beating fossils out of rock. Um, um, it's an extinct argument in certain places, and I say is extinct in certain places because look at it like this: we still have neo Nazis, we still have we got the Karens, um, we got those who just don't give a damn. Um, um, and it's not a thing because it's not going there. It's not going anywhere. But wait a minute. Work with me for a minute. Um, and we have the all famous Ku Klux Klan. How popular are they today? Not very popular. Maybe popular in name, but not activity. But look at it like this. Wait, before I make my comment. Some humans are never completely like other humans. It's always been, that's true. It's very true. But look at it like this. Long before our time on this planet, there were a lot of lynchings, a lot of Negro barbecues, a lot of dismemberments of genitalia and other body parts to our peoples. And I think recently the anti-lynching bill has passed. And although that anti-lynching bill has passed and people are hooraying it to the end of the earth, the anti-lynching bill, from what I understand, I haven't read the whole thing and I don't care to because I think it's pacification. Not many people are being lynched by the Klan or any other group. And I heard a quote, but I forgot where I heard it from. And it goes a little something like this. But let me say this comment first. The activity has just changed. They are not burning crosses. They are not they're active. No, they're not. Here's the thing. A Klan member said, we're teaching our children how to live off the land, how to hunt, how to shoot, how to do all these other things. And in the Black community, they're just killing each other. We don't have to do anything now. What is your take on that?
He's absolutely right.
Yeah. So to Lakeisha's point, it's not going anywhere, but they really don't have to do anything. They could just sit back and not like us. They can verbally express that they don't like us, but they don't have to kill us because we're killing each other. Like, we are literally taking out each other. It's like, and it's you know, I bet they sat back one day and said, God damn it, they are taking our damn job. They killing each other. Now we ain't got nothing to do. We can just sit back and raise our families.
Oh, wow.
Them damn Negroes took our job. They are replacing us. Replacement theory. You get it?
Wow.
What's a red lipstick vibes?
He's saying they out here with that sign saying y'all taking our jobs.
Right. And Black lives don't matter to them if it don't matter to us. And we about to get into that in a minute.
I mean, the thing about it is we can't say all of us are out here killing all of us. We're not.
No, not all of us.
It's just certain sectors who feel
and it's a prominent sector.
That's necessary. I'll say this, right? And not trying to offend anyone. But the thing is, when it comes down to racism, again, I feel like we're still shouting at the top of our freaking lungs that we're being done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And we know it still goes on. But at some point, we have to be the ones that change us. And I'm not saying to
Mm-hmm.
ignore it, but at some freaking point, we have to move on and concentrate on different things. We can't change everybody else's mindset. We can only change our own. Until we change our own, nothing's going to change within our communities.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not trying to offend anyone, not trying to take the blame off of us or put it on someone else. But again, the thing is, it's on us to throw on the damn Superman capes. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get you.
I
Um,
agree with that, location.
thanks, Mike. I get you. So let's move on as we progress through this conversation. Thoughts of African American history being removed from schools.
I'll let you answer that one first.
Okay, you know, I had a case of the ass about it. Um, I had a case of the ass. I had a case of the ass, a serious case of the ass, because I'm like, it's bad enough they barely teach it in our schools already. It's bad enough they whitewash it. Now we're to the point now they want to eliminate it as a whole. It's like, um, right, they never really taught it to us. Like, you heard about, Columbus, you heard about slavery, and you heard about a couple of Frederick Douglass. You may have heard about um in school. I remember hearing about Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King Jr., um, slavery, um, and Jesse Jackson, um, Marcus Garvey, and a couple of Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, and a couple of others. But um, far and wide, you didn't hear much about anything. Now, again, I had a case of the ass about it because, because of, they never really taught us. They taking it out, this, that, and the other. Um, Rosa Parks was on the bus. Yeah, Rosa Parks is another one. Um, and all the freedom marches and stuff like that we heard about. But okay, so I had a case of ass about that, and then I started to change my tune. I started to change my tune to this is stuff that we need to be teaching our own. And as I've been paying attention to us, we don't talk about that stuff at all. We're not passing anything down. We have nothing to pass down. And we're complaining about what they're not teaching our kids in their school system. Right? Now, we get to the point where they took the Confederate flag off the Georgia Dome, right? Then we get to the point where they're taking down, yes, library reading is fundamental. You definitely can find some books in the library. But then we get to the point where they're taking down Confederate statues and monuments and stuff like that, right? Then we get to the point to where they are renaming military bases and military ships and stuff like that. They're removing the Confederate names from military bases and military ships and stuff like that. They're changing the name of Fort Bragg. They're changing the name of Fort Hood. They're going to change the name of Fort Benning. I think Fort Polk is on that list. They're changing all of these things. There's a whole commission from the military that is renaming all of these military bases and stuff. And I had to check myself a little bit. We're complaining about these Confederate things out there, but we want them to teach Black history in schools. Now, everyone out there on the planet or in the country needs to understand they go hand in hand. You can't take away their history and just throw ours front and center. Now, there's going to be an argument of, well, they did this and they did that, and I totally get it. But you can't tell our story without their story, and they can't tell their story without our story. What are your thoughts?
I'm probably gonna offend some people. Sorry, really, I'm gonna say that in advance. But when it comes down to certain parts of history,
Mhm.
I prefer that they take it out of school. Simply because I don't want anyone teaching my damn son that his people come from a whole line of damn slaves. The fuck? We were kings and queens. We ruled continents. But you want to teach my son what you you interpret that we were? Some say it's fact, some say it's fiction. It is what it is. That's one of those things. It comes down to the reader, as they say. You have to believe what you want to believe. Um, there are so many aspects of our true culture. There are so many great people that have come from our communities that have done great things. But again, that part of history has been whitewashed. You can pull out a penny right now, just look at it. It's telling you something, but people don't want to talk about that. Um, we do need to be teaching our kids. If we're letting someone else from a whole other damn community teach our kids about us, then that's all our kids are going to believe what they've been told by someone who don't even look like us. It's on us to teach our kids and raise our kids. Slavery may have happened, if you want to believe that. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Again, I'm not here to debate anyone on that.
This guy, this guy.
But here's the thing, right? If we teach our kids about some of the prominent people who have done astounding things from our communities, the positive things, I am all for that. But teaching our kids that we come from a line of slaves and we contributed nothing to this country, no, you can kick rocks with that, bro. You keep that in your bag.
Well, we may come from a line of kings and queens, but that was centuries ago. Um, when you move forward, several hundred years, or go back 200-300 years, we didn't come from kings and queens. We come from royalty. We have a bloodline of royalty or whatever. But when you talk about teaching our kids about prominent people, there's only so far that we can go back. It's only so far, because those stories have been forgotten. Those stories have not been passed around. Let me see. Yes, we built this country. So for the fact that we built this country, you can pretty much rest assured know that we were slaves, because we were forced to build this country. Like, forced to build this country. The same way the Native Americans that everybody calls Indians, the same way that Asians, same way that Irish, every culture has been robbed of something, but affectionately we focus on us because that's what matters to us. That's all. That's what matters to us. But the thing about it is, if we, okay, so us coming from kings and queens, half of us can't go back 100 years. And whose fault is that? Did they beat it out of us? Did they brainwash us that much to where we didn't pass down this, that, and the other? Or did we forget? You know, I get exactly what you're saying, but we can agree that we need to be telling our children this stuff. But again, how far can we go back? It's one thing to talk about prominent people in our culture. And again, we can only go back so far. But if we cannot chronicle the history of these prominent people, we're lost. It's like giving a child keys to a car and say, this is how you turn it on, but not telling them how it works. That's what we're faced with when it comes to our history, our lineage, our legacy. Like, I can know who my mother is, but if I don't know who my grandfather is, then I'm missing a whole piece of that story. And if you look at us collectively, we're missing a whole piece of that story. So when we're complaining about what they're taking out of the schools or what they're teaching us in the schools, we also have to look at what we're responsible for. And that's pretty much to point to what you're saying. We're responsible for this, but we have fallen way short of the glory of what is ours.
I agree. The thing about it is, again, we're wanting someone to teach our kids about us. So how can you be mad at someone who's teaching our kids about us instead of us teaching us or our kids about us?
And equally, we can't be mad because they don't want to teach us about us. We just can't. No. Oh, you're taking it out of schools, you know, and they dress it up in a manner in which they say, I think your boy DeSantis, they forbid us from speaking our language. They separated families. So all of it. Yes, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. I do not deny that at all. At the same time, it's, you know, it's too many layers to that, so I'll leave it alone. Too many layers. And that could be a whole topic on itself. But you know, they try to mask it to where they say, well, it shouldn't be taught to children of a certain age in elementary school, this, that, and the other. I don't have it with me, but I'm gonna throw a bullshit flag. Because they say they don't want to teach certain things of Black history in elementary school, but they're promoting genderless education. They're promoting homosexuality. They're allowing kids to say that they're a species or something that they're clearly not. So it's like, how do you remove African American history or history of, you know, indigenous people or whatever from schools, but you feel that it's important for an elementary school child to express their sexuality? Yes, I said a species because I've heard, look, I heard someone said that a child in school said that they were a duck, and the teacher could not tell that child that they were not a duck because that teacher would get in trouble. What? I gotta say, what the fuck is going on in America? Like, seriously. Like, seriously.
That's what the old folks say.
You got anything on that before we move on?
No, I got nothing on that. Them people would
it is crazy. It's crazy. You don't want to teach them about slavery and this, that, and the other, and how black people built the country and blah blah blah, and Black Wall Street and this, but you can let a child talk about their sexuality at the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, when they should be learning how to read, write, how you should say it, reading, writing, and arithmetic. I'm telling my age right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that point, though. Removing certain aspects of history to replace it basically with this whole species and sexuality thing. Yeah.
Tell him to quack. Tell him to sit down and lay a goddamn egg. Tell him to be a mallard duck and swallow a fish whole without choking. No pun intended.
Dang it, son. Dang it.
All right, so the meaning behind White Lives Matter. What do you have on that?
I'll say this. There's a book out there called the Black Law Dictionary, right?
Uh-huh.
Black Law Dictionary. If anyone can get their hands on a Black Law Dictionary and not an updated version,
Mm-hmm.
look up the meaning of white. And when you look up meaning of white, you're gonna be like, all right, wow, okay. So a little bit of homework for everyone out there. And I'm going to leave it at that.
I hear you. Oh, damn it. Wait. What's I looking for? Nah, go ahead, keep talking. I'm looking for something real quick.
But it blows my mind the way that whole Black Lives Matter movement has been shifted and hijacked and turned completely into a circus, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
When there are so many people who were actually down for the cause, as they say.
There's still people down for the cause.
Intent is genuine. It's coming from a place of real concern from our community
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to see our community progress in a way that we haven't done before.
Right.
But again, if you look into the actual Black Lives Matter movement, I would just encourage you to do your own research because it's not what most people think it is. And I'll leave it at that.
You talking about Black Lives Matter?
Yes, sir.
Uh, um, yeah. Well, now when you talk about White Lives Matter, and we're starting to get into this whole Kanye, Candace Owens shit. Again, the replacement theory is prominent in their brains, as if we're gonna erase them, which we can't because they multiply like rats. Not saying that we don't, but they came up with the White Lives Matter in response to the Black Lives Matter thing. And these people have it in their brains that, well, all lives matter. Yeah, all lives do matter. That's a given, but they act like I was about to say that their lives have always mattered. They act like their lives never mattered. And it's like, y'all lives always matter, even when you were accusing of stuff that we weren't doing. So your lives always matter. So when you say White Lives Matter, it's like, what exactly do you mean? And then they also say, well, all lives matter. Well, apparently not, because if you really believed all lives matter, you wouldn't be acting the way that you act. Like, period. You can't sit there and say all lives matter, but if you're seeing a Black person or Asian person or Hispanic person on the side of the road, you won't help them. Or, back in the day, well, not even back in the day, still to this day, some people don't want to be touched by a Black doctor. Some people don't want to be served by a Black waiter. So how do you say all lives matter? Like, help me understand. Like, The hypocrisy has gone on forever, and it will keep going on forever. But at what point do you sit back and say, I can't completely get away from black people. I can't get away from Asian people. I can't get away from Hispanic people. I'm the same motherfucker that's in there hollering about give me some more tequila on Taco Tuesday. So, I mean, yeah, they're trying to change everything we do. They want to put raisins in all our food, and they want to change the narrative related to Black Lives Matter. I don't like raisins in my food, but I get you.
Ooh, I like raisins in my salads.
But yeah, I mean, White Lives Matter was in response to Black Lives Matter, but it's like, how insensitive can you be in this country? How insensitive can you be? You ready to move on to it?
Yeah, we can go ahead and move on.
Can Kanye and Candace White Lives Matter moment? Say your piece.
I think it's one of those things.
Oh shit!
If you want to watch a jackass be a jackass, then let the jackass be a jackass.
Right.
I can't say that I'm mad or upset with either one of them, right? Because again, I recognize the fact of who they are. They're celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
They say things and do things to rile the common person, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I just have no thoughts on it. It's like I'm too busy trying to handle my own day-to-day life than to be worried about what Candace Owen and Kanye West are saying. Now, I will admit, after this subject came up, I did want to look into it a little bit further, and I did.
All right.
But there's a video of Candace Owens on YouTube explaining her position on the White Lives Matter.
Because she has a white husband. But go ahead.
So, from what I saw, and I didn't get a chance to watch all of it, she made some valid points.
Share with the people. I gotta watch the comments. I gotta watch the comments. Go ahead.
Again, this is for people who care to actually do their own research. She was saying that she thought that the Black Lives Matter situation was a scam.
Mm-hmm.
And after her putting forth some actual facts, and she's actually doing a documentary on it,
Oh my God.
why she thinks those things.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the time to break it down and to actually look at it, I think that's one point that's I can't disagree with her, because if they made $80 million, was it $80 million or $800 million? It was something along those lines. But the thing is, where is the money?
Keep going. I'm gonna go try to find this thing real quick.
That's what everybody is wondering. Where is the money? Do white lives matter? I think they do. If you actually know the true definition of, again, what is in a Black law dictionary. But true, nothing changed. I just think that previous movements, when it comes down to things from our community, this is like the newer version of that. But anyways, I'll get off it. I know I probably stepped on some toes, and I apologize, but that's just the way I see it.
I'm going to stick to my guns on that one.
All right, go ahead.
And I'm going to say that's a little bit irrelevant to me.
Hold on 1 second. I'm still here.
Wait, where's this thing at? Where is it? Oh God, I can't find it now. Yeah, that's a little irrelevant to me. Right, dial that number and see if I can get you in here. to me that's a little irrelevant because at the end of the day, I don't think this is gonna fucking work. I need another cord. Um, it's a little irrelevant to me because it doesn't matter what the Black Lives Matter thing, the mess up, the foolery, the fuckery, that doesn't matter. What is your justification for wearing a White Lives Matter shirt? That's my thing. Like, what is your justification for wearing that shirt? Because it makes no sense to me. It's like, again, what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to say? We know Kanye is known for acting out of order. We know he's known for that. So in the grand scheme of things, what are you trying to prove with her? I know a lot of people that agree with a lot of things that she says, but I can't support the whole White Lives Matter thing because it's like, what are you doing? And specifically for him, it's like, bruh, you have a big following. The community has not discarded you yet. And you're still out here wilding out. And you have kids following you. It's bad enough these kids could barely think for themselves. It's bad enough these little kids out here can barely handle the pressures of transitioning from childhood to adolescence to adulthood. Now you want them to follow your nonsense? Like, help me understand. Like, I hear what you're saying about the Black Lives Matter thing, but for me, it does not justify wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, especially when we have so many problems that are against us and you wear a shirt like that. It's like a slap in the face.
I'll say this. And again, this is one of those things of actually knowing what the meaning of the so-called color white is. White is really not white. And that's the thing that a lot of people are hung up on. And again, it's one of those things of you have to really do some research or pick up one of the earlier versions of the Black Law Dictionary and you'll get where they're coming from. When I see Kanye do things like this, I believe Kanye is a whole lot smarter than what people give him credit for.
I think he's a
Not
jackass.
saying I'm the biggest Kanye fan, but the thing about it is it's kind of like looking at a piece of art, right? You're looking at it and you just glance at it right quick. But there are a whole lot of things going on within that piece of art, but you just don't have the time to stop and observe that piece of art. But once you stop, take a few minutes, you notice things that you've never seen before. And I just think that, again, this is just my personal thing. I think there's a lot going on with him that if people look past the shenanigans, look past the charades, you'll be surprised at how smart this person is.
Cousin Genesis says we know that all lives matter. We also know that certain lives, Black lives, were the first being gunned down by those who were sworn to protect. That is the point, and that's kind of where I'm going with it. In our community, well, not our community, in our society, we have a habit of looking past the craziness of people. We have a habit of that, and that's becoming a problem. It's becoming an epidemic in this country and even around the world, because people highly favor people because of the things that they do, and they overlook the negative about them because there's maybe so much good over there. But like Sanjay says, how much sense does he really make? Like, if you listen to, like, yes, he has musical genius. I can't take that away from him. But I have to step back because his actions the quality of person that he is, the contribution that he makes to our culture is only musically, to me. Like you can't get up there and act any old kind of way and keep doing it and keep doing it because people um people just pacify it, and that's the problem. You know, people keep pacifying the fuckery, and that's part of why we have so many of these issues, because people keep pacifying the fuckery. And it's like, at what point do we stop doing that? You know, and you know, to bring my point home, when you look at people like R. Kelly, people say, well, I can separate the artist from the person. It's like, no, the fuck you can't. That same person that made all them dope ass songs, the same person that was doing all this fucked up shit. You can't separate them. You can't. You can't take that person and pull the artist out, and the person who he is lives on its own. No, they are stuck together. There is no taking it apart. So when I look at Kanye West and the shit that he's doing, I can't separate that, because it's like, yo, you have a following. You have people spending four, five, six, $700 on a pair of sneakers, and then you out here acting crazy. Now let's look at some of the stuff that he's done. You know, harassing his ex-wife and doing this and doing that. Oh, it's cool because he's Kanye. But let someone in my shoes or your shoes do what he's doing. We going behind that clink. Period. And it's like, well, Sun Soul X and Soul Touch of the Poet, they have so much to offer the world, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if we do half the shit that he's doing, we are done. So when I look at what he's doing, and him with the White Lives Matter shirt, it's like, what are you doing? Like, really, what are you doing? Didn't he just lose his deal with Adidas? Then his social media got suspended because anti-Semitic comments. Candace Owens said, "Oh, what he said was not anti-Semitic." But let someone of a different culture, different color, different mindset say those same things about us, we are up in arms. So why is it okay for him to act up with the fuckery?
It's not okay. But again, I think that's the part of his appeal, is there are so many people aren't willing to do the necessary research to see where the hell he's coming from. You know, you just take it at face value and like, yep,
But
I
where's
have
he
no
coming from?
reason to hate him for wearing that shirt.
But where is he coming from? What is he saying? What is his message?
Some will get it, some won't.
I'm not getting it. So somebody please explain it to me. There's not enough research on this planet that can get me to understand where he's coming from. Not enough.
Exactly.
Not enough. So when I look at that, it's like, bruh, you need to go sit down somewhere. There's no appeal to me about him. None. There's no appeal. And it's like, his first album was dope. Second album was pretty dope. But after that, with the antics and all the nonsense, it's like, I can't even rock with you like that. I just can't. And when he was going through his stuff with Kim, oh, he just wants his wife back. Why are you acting like that if you want your wife back? If you want your family back? What are you showing? Like, if you are distraught because your mother passed away, go get help. Sit your ass down somewhere and collect yourself. You can't have it both ways. And that goes back to our community. We can't have it both ways. We can't sit there and complain about this, that, and the other and think we're going to get something out of it or get something done. No. I can't rock with it.
I get with you on the community stuff. We definitely can't get past it if we're not willing to do what's necessary. But anyway, we can move on.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's talk about Black Lives Matter versus White Lives Matter. As you were stating previously, how the Black Lives Matter movement was a fraud, to a certain degree. I think it's safe to say that And as Mike was saying earlier in the program, how do we choose our leaders? I don't know, because those who step up seem to just,
Sell
you
out.
know, yeah, sell out. And it's been going on. It's been going on for a very long time. It's been going on since the warring tribes in Africa. So how do we choose our leaders? How do we, make some headway in this place, in this space? When you look at White Lives Matter, yes, they may have infighting, but they damn sure know how to rally behind each other strongly, unlike our people. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, it's a very valid point. They will do that. Um, First off, when we say Black Lives Matter versus White Lives Matter, right? That's one of the things that's kind of has us in this position we are in right now,
Hmm.
meaning division.
Right.
That's how they keep us in this circle, meaning if we're constantly going back and forth with each other or constantly um, dividing ourselves over issues, over feelings,
Hmm.
we're never going to get anywhere.
Hmm.
So, first thing we have to do is take that debate off the table, meaning stop um, being worried about what someone else in a whole nother community is doing and
Hmm.
concentrate on ourselves. When I actually sit and think about one of the things that got us into this position that we're in now,
Hmm.
it was business. At least that's what we were taught. The pilgrims came over and they wanted to trade with us and things along that line. And that's how, supposedly Europeans got over here is based on business of trade. So that's kind of like one of the things I think personally that's going to help us get out of the situation we're in. When we realize that all the social media, all the news networks, all they're doing is showing us in negative lights for the most part. I can't say the entire thing, but for the most part. But it's kind of like as long as we keep concentrating on the negativity instead of the positivity, again, we're just spinning our wheels in the same mud. So one,
Yo, Mike, you in there?
can you hear me? Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. I was trying to see if I could hear him.
Oh, okay. So
No, I
once we
can't hear him.
start getting back to building our businesses, start buying the blocks that we live on, buying the buildings that we constantly go in and give our money to other people. Once we start focusing on business and stop putting our feelings in every goddamn thing, that's when we can start to begin to turn things around in our own community. I feel personally. But that's just one part of it. There's so many other things we will have to do.
Yo,
Yo,
we got you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm on Sandra's phone right now, but I'm like, yo, I got a lot of shit to I'm like not mad at the White Lives Matter shirt, my guy,
Uh-huh.
because all the lives matter, but it's like, man, like white lives matter too. Like black lives matter too, but I'm like, y'all just got me on tilt tonight.
Uh-huh.
I'm just trying to figure it all out. You know what I'm saying, man? So where we at?
So but we was talking about Black Lives Matter versus White Lives Matter. So you're not mad at the White Lives Matter shirt.
No, I'm not mad at it. King is
Okay.
mad at it.
Look, this is what I'm mad at.
Right.
I don't care about the shirt. My problem is the people who are doing it. And it's like you're not really, for all intents and purposes, you're not really for the community. You know,
Right. Right.
you're sucking from the community, but you're not giving back anything of value.
Value. Yeah.
So when I look at him, Kanye West himself, it's like, you know, you got these $300, $400, $500 sneakers out here. You got, you know, all your deals, this, that, and the other. But when our youngsters are looking at you, that and you know, people, you know, in his age group and older, when it's like, what are you doing? Like,
agreed.
when you look at,
Why do you have $300 or $400 sneakers when we can, in our community, we can't afford that shit.
right? And people's losing their lights and you know,
Yeah.
these shoes, and it's like, what is he giving back to the community while he's wearing his White Lives Matter shirt?
Nothing. So, King, I'm in compliance. What's your name, homie?
Son Solex.
Son.
Yeah.
I'm in compliance with Son right now. I'm not really feeling you on this shit, King. Like, I'm gonna say what it is. You know what I mean?
Lean ready, rock with it.
Yeah. Listen, if I'm feeling you, I'm feeling you. If I'm not feeling you, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna speak my mind 100%. King, I am not in compliance with your shit right now.
Hey, I'm just saying.
We on a podcast, you know what I'm saying, man? We get
you got to look at it like this, though. Again, what value is he providing by doing this?
none.
If we all can sit back and agree that all lives matter, why are you wearing a White Lives Matter for attention?
Because the same reason why we got Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. I'm just not in compliance with you right now, player.
Hey, you know,
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm with my man right here, son. I'm with him right now.
But he's pretty much saying it just doesn't matter either way. And I get that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter either way. But in the grand scheme of things, when it doesn't matter either way, why?
If it doesn't matter either way, then what's your problem?
Why is he promoting one thing if it doesn't matter either way?
He's promoting both.
No, he ain't.
No, he's not.
No,
he is not. You can't sit there and say White Lives Matter and then you go on in several other places make anti-Semitic comments. You can't do that. That's not saying all lives matter. Period.
Okay, I'm clear.
So when he's sitting there promoting the White Lives Matter shirt, it's like, okay, but I have yet to see him promote Black lives.
Right.
Efficiently, effectively.
Right.
I have
okay.
And you get your social media accounts suspended because you're making anti-Semitic comments. So it's like, take the fucking shirt off, go sit down somewhere and recollect yourself.
Okay. All right.
That's all.
I'll say this, right?
Agree with you on something. Like, I agree with both of y'all. Like, it's a fucking conundrum right now. I agree with both of y'all. I'm just trying to figure it all out. White lives matter, Black lives matter. Kanye is not, you know, he's a white boy. He's a fucking white boy masquerading around. Hey, I could speak freely on the podcast.
Yes,
Watch
you.
your language.
Yeah, because I got wifey over here talking about watch your curse words. King, you already know how I get down. I'm like, man, no. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, man. Nobody. I'm with you, son. I'm with you, King. It's just a conundrum. Like, it's too much going on.
I agree with you, sir. So,
Yeah, sir. No, stop with the sir shit. What's up, my guy?
it's all good, Michael.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. Like, Kanye is crazy, but he's smart too.
I agree with that.
So
Right.
what you about to go in there?
Huh?
I'm gonna say that the thing about it is, with the Confederate flag, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been taught
Oh man, we taking it here.
something completely and totally different than what the original flag was intended for.
All right, come on.
So again, it's one of those things, kind of like the swastika. Those of us who done the research know what the true meaning of the swastika is.
That
It
is
means
true.
360,
Yeah.
360 degrees of life.
You done the research?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what
They
you got?
took-
You know what I'm saying, man? Spit your game.
So they took the swastika and they made it into something which
Yeah.
was once good into something evil.
Okay.
That's kind of like the thing that me personally, me watching Kanye promote the White Lives Matter. And again, I've said this before, for those of us who are willing to do the necessary research, meaning get
Yeah.
Black Law Dictionary. I'm not talking about a recent one. I'm talking about one that was made in like the
1800.
yeah, like the further you go back
Bags.
with Black Law Dictionary, the better off you are.
All right.
When you look at that word white in that book, it's going to blow your freaking mind. I promise you.
Shit, black blows my mind.
You got the dictionary?
We weren't considered black.
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find an edition that I want. That's my biggest problem. I've been
Hey,
able to
nigga,
find
when you
certain
get
things here and
mail that shit to the crib.
got you.
Where you his
On
stuff?
one, I got you.
Mail it to the crib.
Look, I don't
Stop it.
I don't care about the Black Law Dictionary and this, that, and the other.
Why you don't care about that, man?
Because we are in 2022 right now, right? And
Know
it's
your
like
history.
that's like trying to resurrect a 1970 Wood Fleetwood Cadillac. We're not doing that.
Yes, the
We're not
fuck
doing
we
that.
are.
No,
Yes.
you can't do that.
Yes,
Everything.
we are.
No, okay. Well, why don't you bring Moses back to part some more damn seas?
I'm saying, bruh.
No,
Like-
I'm saying, like, look, 2022. What the hell does the Black Law Dictionary have to do with the foolery that's going on in our community?
Because it's going to give you
Nothing.
knowledge and everything that's leading up to the shit. Come on, bro.
What
It's
knowledge
history,
do I need
son.
from the Black Law Dictionary?
Yeah, okay, man. We gonna go win.
Words are misleading.
We gonna go win.
You know,
You was the first one that was talking about history, and then you shitting on the Black Dictionary from 1800.
No, I'm not shitting on the dictionary. What I'm looking at is if we can, okay, like I said earlier.
Yeah, come on, let's go in.
I watched the video, 4 black dudes jumping out of a van, going after this dude that had a Chrysler 300. What is the Black Law Dictionary going to help me teach these kids? Nothing.
It's gonna give you knowledge from 1800 up until you don't want the knowledge.
I don't need that knowledge. If I have 4,
why not? You fucking tripping, bro.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You tripping.
You got 4 dudes jumping out of a van with guns, attacking an innocent bystander. What is the Black Law Dictionary going to provide for me?
It's not going to provide you with
that's my
right
point.
Now, yo, but just fucking know your history. You the main one that talk about know your lineage, know your history, and all that shit. And then
the dictionary is not going to give me my lineage. What I'm saying to you is, in 2022, is that going to help me define or decide where my next leader is? No,
No,
it's not.
it's not. But you can still have that knowledge, though.
Oh, cool. I can have that knowledge, but that's not going to help me with my next leader.
No, it's not gonna help
That's
you right now.
that's
today.
not going to help me. That's not going to help me teach these knucklehead kids to stop doing drive-bys and murdering people for chains and nothing.
Right. I get you. It's not gonna help you right now, Tim. But don't you want to have that knowledge anyway?
I would love to have that knowledge, but again, it's not helping me.
So get with
progress
it then. Stop fucking tripping.
But then go find a dictionary. Don't tell him to mail it to you. You go find it.
Buy it, right?
You mail it to me.
And this goes back to my point. We have people in our communities who don't want to do
their own
anything.
research and listen to what everybody else and their mama said instead of finding
Look,
out.
I got wifey over here. I'm like, shut up. Like, ain't
I'm
nobody
just
talking
saying.
to your ass right now. Yo.
It goes back to the argument
Each
at
one
hand.
teach one.
No, that's the problem.
Yes, sir.
Nobody wants to fucking learn
Right?
something.
Each one teach one. If
But
you got
if
something from
we-
me,
hey,
man,
hey.
I'm willing to accept it.
Okay, so what do you have to teach the next person?
I have nothing.
Then there's no each one teach one.
Well, I gotta start some fucking where.
But you have to start with you.
That's right. That's
I'm
right.
starting with you. Mail me that book, motherfucker.
This is why our communities are
It's so
falling
fucked
apart.
up now.
This is
God.
why.
Look.
It's so
You-
fucked up now.
Yo,
have
but can
proven
you
my
start
point.
somewhere though?
This is
You
why
can start
we're so
somewhere,
fucked up
right?
now.
Yes,
I
sir.
did start somewhere, and I on my own.
Just
Look.
just
You know,
King-
and you know I be all over the place.
What's wrong with our community? What you saying?
my brother.
You know I be
King.
all over the place.
I know, and son, just if I'm naive and I'm ignorant to what's going on, I'm looking at both to hold me down.
Right.
But then you also have to provide something to the group so that we can build on whatever you have.
No problem.
Because if you're just soaking up what Sun Soul X has, all you're going to do is regurgitate what he sold you.
It's the truth.
No problem. I don't have a problem with that. But right now, I need both of y'all. Brothers, hold me down.
This guy right here.
Yeah,
Oh,
already.
man.
You already know what it is.
Oh,
sure.
man.
Hold me down. Yeah, just, yeah.
Black folks will miss that shit.
Hold me down with a book, you know what I'm saying, man? Give me some knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Give me something. You know what I'm saying?
This guy.
I'm with it. Yeah, I had to get on this. Yeah, we gonna get it in. I'm
Oh,
gonna be on this goddamn. Yeah, you already know what
This
it
boy
is.
is.
Ken.
But look, that's
What?
all, that's all we got though for the night, man. That's you got anything you want to close out with?
No, I need something in the mail.
Please find this damn dictionary for him.
Man, I promise
No,
you.
you gonna go to the library.
No, fuck that.
I got you, bro. I got you.
Oh,
100. Yeah, we
we
gonna get it.
Son,
I'll
so
holler
like-
at y'all later. You know what I'm saying, man? Shut
Aight.
it down, right?
for sure. Thanks
Yeah,
for
we
coming
about
on.
to get up. Yeah, we about to hit that two. We almost at the 2 hour mark.
Yeah, all right, fam. I'll holler at y'all later.
Aight.
Son. Nice
Salute.
meeting you, bro.
Nice meeting you too, sir.
All
right, bro.
Got you.
All right, 100.
All right.
Yeah, that nigga crazy.
Boy, this joker crazy.
Shout out
Oh.
to Mike.
Yeah, shout out for coming up. But yeah, man. Hey, for those who are interested in that, cool. I mean, I'm not against it. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I'm not against it. My whole point is in 2022. Yes, that's good information to have, but when you're looking at what we need to do to progress today, that's just good information to have. Again, times have changed. You know, the basics are the basics. So when you bring up the Black Law Dictionary, you know, the basics are the basics, and you can't do anything without the basics. Everything in life has an element of the basics, but with the way things are changing now, and the mentality of people, the mentality of society as a whole, again, you know, you got elementary school kids going to school talking about they ducks and they're learning about sexuality, but you want to take African American history out of the schools where you've already been half-ass teaching it and stuff like that. And then you want to erase Confederate history. And I get you, the swastika, the Confederate flag, they meant one thing until people's ideologies got engrossed in it and turned into what it is now these days. It's like, yes, it's sad, we go from the pride of the American flag to people burning the American flag. And it's like, the pride of people, the pride of a nation, all of that goes to the wayside. So when you look at what's going on now in 2022, everybody is all over the place, and it's hard to get a mass unity moving in one direction. Again, in our communities, everybody's going in all these different directions. You got, murder rates are going up, drive-bys are going up, rapes are going up. The the common sense of our community is going down. The education level is going down. When you look at all of these things, and yes, again, Black Law Dictionary, yes, but if you look at all these other things that are going on today, how relevant is that to what people need to be doing? I mean, again, it's good information, but when you look at where our community is now, and again, the Kanye West thing, White Lives Matter, it's like, come on, bro, like represent Black people, represent your people, or represent all people at the very least. That's what I'm looking at.
I agree with what you're saying here. I can't give you any pushback on that. What I will say is this: we use words so many times throughout the course of a day,
Mm-hmm.
and why I'm pushing the Black Law Dictionary is when a word was come to flourishing or come to inception, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
that original meaning of that word remains the same. But over course of time, those words have been changed. You know, one letter has been moved in front of another, which changes the whole dynamic or
Mm-hmm.
energy of a word.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not trying to, push anyone on anything, or I'm just giving you food for thought.
Right. Go ahead.
Um, so again, when you're speaking a word and you don't know the true definition of that word because you've been led to believe that that word means something other than what it actually means,
Mm-hmm.
then you're changing the frequency of that word. So something again that was once good is now bad, and you're using it against people around you, and you don't even know that you're actually doing that. For example, the word morning, when we say good morning, mourning actually means when people are in mourning over death. So when you're speaking to someone and you're saying good morning, you're actually speaking death. So I say all that to say that, again, there are so many words out here that have been changed from their original meaning. Um, so when we break down white and black, what we've been taught, the actual meaning of those words are completely and totally different from what the original inception of it was or is. So again, I'm not gonna keep going on and on about that, but just in my closing, I think that there are a lot of issues that we have within our community. And I'm not saying that we're gonna figure out all of them, but I
Mm-hmm.
think the majority of them we can figure out on our own. Again, we have all the tools that we need. It's just we're gonna have to learn to separate from certain individuals and certain parties within our own communities. So that means, it's kind of like the North versus the South.
Oh
We had
Lord,
people
not
who were
that movie.
cousins fighting
Not
against
that
each other. We
movie.
had people who were brothers fighting against each other. And that's one of the things I think again that keeps us at odds with each other is because we keep on fighting each other instead of simply saying, I don't agree with you, but I respect your point of view.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing, that has kept us in this state of always being at odds with each other. So, anyway, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in to the King and I Life podcast. My name is Sun Soul X, and this is my brother.
Soul Toucher, the poet in the house.
And once again, check us out. We out here in these social media streets, as they say.
Yeah, and if you haven't, ride on over to Book of Genesis. I did an interview with her, and also over to it's.me.shell podcast. I did an interview with her. That's both of them on YouTube, so go look those up.
Oh yeah,
it's that. Go ahead.
It's that. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
It's.me.shell is also on whatever podcast platform that you're tuning into. So go check out them two. Genesis, that's my YouTube cousin, love her to death. Great people. Red Lipstick Vibes, go check her out. Great sister. Dope content on her page as well. So yeah, go check them out. Because they always support us and yeah. They always have open arms for us to go hop on their platforms as well. So go ahead, what you were saying.
We did an interview last night with a gentleman named Phil, also known as Blur. Check out that episode. Is we're gonna be posting it in the near future, but anyway, yeah. He has put out a book called The Black Traveler's Guide, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to have him back on the show to actually do a live with him on his second or third book. We haven't figured that part out yet. But anyway, like I said, you got to just be on the lookout for him. And his book is actually on Amazon. The first one, dang it, I wish I had that information right in front of me. But anyway, we're promoting him on his book. He actually has 2 out right now, as far as people from our community who are actually traveling around the world and settling in different parts of the world. So when he drops his third book, hopefully we'll get him back on and discuss that book. But anyway, shouts out to him, and we'll see you guys on our next one.
Hey, and while you're out there, go check out my man Rano. He dropped his EP last month. Rano, first single was Hold On. His second single will be dropping soon, and we're gonna close out with a portion of that video. So we'll holler at y'all on the next one.
Deuces to the trousers.
You can't be serious, man. Come on.
Sometimes you gotta let it go. Don't know why they're always testing my cool. And it wouldn't benefit nobody to just